Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Monday, December 1st. Holy cow. We got 24 days to Christmas. Are you ready, folks? Did you do your shopping over the weekend? Hopefully you got some great deals out there. There are a lot of good ones to be found. Let's go ahead and take a look and see who the heck we have out there in our audience to start up the show. Who's out in the chat? Let's take a look and welcome you in. We've got Amanda here, Brendan England, along with Brains. I see Country Carpenter in the chat, along with Craig Smith, Digger Dog, Eliza Teal, Evan B, Firefly, Gray Hair Discoveries, and Enoch the Witness. It's good to see you, my friends. I see Evan B's out there. We got Firefly, Gray Hair Discoveries, Greyhound, Clayhounds, good to see you. We got Hawaii 5-0, Jake Not from State Farm. JJ's here along with Jake Cat Meow. We got Kelly Broat and those piercing blue eyes. Good to see you, Kelly, as always. We got Megan Betts, Mississippi and Martian. Meninopolis. Mr. Grimlock's here along with Ms. Cussout. Well, let's take a look and see. We've got Nathan Forrest, Necessary Dialogue, Real Mr. X, Roni Deals here along with Rodney Cox, Sam, Shinobi 1 Kenobi popped in along with Shooby-Doo. Stargazer 4625's in the chat along with Steve Hines. We got The Wasteland, Truckin' Pawpaw, Turtlehead, Two Midgets on a Horse from Northern Idaho, Weedlander, Yankee 5058, and Yellow Tommy Tank are also known as Andy. Wait, you were gone. That's right. You're gone over the weekend on vacation, but you're back on that night. Let's go ahead and jump into the studio and welcome you all into this episode. Yeah, I've got one of my classic It Works. Got a smorgasbord of stuff to go ahead and talk about today. Should be interesting, to say the least, because... Where's it at? Mike. We send out our... our best wishes to you. Stuck on the side of the road. His wonderful family vehicle, the trusty dusty Chevy Suburban, died today. Transmission out of commission, not driving anywhere, and he is off in hell. Yeah, imagine getting your transmission going out with the wife and all the kids and a long list of places to go, and that's your only vehicle. Oh boy. Yeah. Hopefully you're doing fine, my friend. On that note, we're going to be having a bunch of fun stuff to talk about here today. Yeah, there's not a lot of things going around, but, we're finding it. We're keeping the conversation going. Oh, boy, where do we start? Oh, God. Let's get into the first one here. I will start with this one. Yes, there's been the planet has been receiving what is being described as intense solar radiation that's corrupted the A320 flight systems worldwide. Airbus, meanwhile, is rushing an emergency update. Yes, if you haven't heard, 6,500 Airbus A320s were brought down. Well, not brought down, but actually grounded, frozen. Yes, my friends. A lot more than just 300 in Australia, 6,500 worldwide, all gone.
Well, it goes to show you what the sun could do. With the solar radiation, solar winds, everything that's happening now. I mean, we've got so much stuff happening right now at the end of this cycle that it seems like it's coming to a peak.
It's kind of going to be looking like a slow ramp down, where usually you'll get it goes up in a peak and it comes right down just like it went up like a typical bell curve. No, it's kind of going up, and it's going to be a slow decrease coming out of this cycle. So we're still we're not out of the danger zone yet. And what's been going on is with the weakening, if you want to call it, magnetic field around our planet, more solar radiation is coming down to the area where the planes are flying, and it's just causing an issue at this point. So they may have corrupted flight data in an incident involving an A320 narrow-body aircraft. While the company did not disclose which flight it affected, it was likely last month's JetBlue flight 1230, which suddenly dropped in altitude while en route to Newark from Cancun. Yeah, it dropped like 10,000 feet, like boom. Threw people up into the air. A bunch of people got hurt.
We're talking about with those secret programs as well. Like they have to have like some kind of shielding for this kind of thing already out there in their programs, and all these airplanes got taken down when they could have been shielded from this already.
Well, the systems that are in like the A320 and such should be relatively hardened up to a certain level, but it sounds like whatever in the overall design of the A320 platform, maybe others will find out that it's not handling it so well. So an Airbus issued an alert operators transmission to all airlines operating the A320 family of aircraft, a warning that an urgent fix is required. The company believes this is the first this is the first time this specific problem has ever emerged in its fleet. We can probably say in any fleet worldwide that's ever happened, never happened in Boeing and such, and says it proactively worked with aviation authorities, keeping safety as their number one and overriding priority. Now, while Airbus acknowledges these recommendations will lead to operational disruptions to passengers and customers, Airbus wrote in a statement, yeah, that's not little disruption. Taking 6,500 planes out of service is no easy task, to say the least. Now, Airbus told the news on Saturday that most of their narrow-body aircraft can be repaired in a matter of hours by simply reverting to the previous software. It said about 900 older aircraft would need more complicated fixes. Sounds like it's a problem. So now American Airlines has about 209 of the aircraft that needs to be updated. Delta Airlines said fewer than 50 of its A321 are impacted, while JetBlue operates a fleet made of mostly of A320 and A321 aircraft. Would not say how many of their jetliners have been grounded, and neither has Southwest Airlines. It's just as the solar cycle continues and as our,
weakening,
if you want to call it, planet continues to weaken. Let me bring up an image on her. Magnetic field continues to weaken. Find out where I'm going on this one. Here we go. Yeah, you can see that at the ground level, you know, in where planes are going, they're dealing with geomagnetically induced current in power systems. And even though there is a higher atmosphere above the jets to go ahead and protect it from the electrons and protons that are going around, coming through the ionosphere, things just aren't safe as they would hope them to. So it's all a waiting game to see where it's going to go. Thank God there's been nothing like another Boeing incident happening, and luckily no one has died so far. But man, that is an interesting situation to say the least. AJ?
Very, very interesting.
Oh, yeah. I'll jump back into the studio. Here we go on here. We'll just keep things rolling around. Yes, going into the next part of disclosure. We got a bunch of smorgasbord of small stories going on here today, folks. I just need to find the one I'm bringing up here. Coming to us from Japan. There was a emergency. Okay, let's start off that they believe the time has come to question the stance of UAP and the media coming out of Japan. Just last week, an emergency executive meeting of the UFO Parliamentarians Association, which is a parliamentary league for clarifying UAP from a national security perspective, was held under the chairmanship of Yazuka Hamada. It was decided there to hold a general meeting during the extraordinary session of the Diet. And as the Secretariat, we are coordinating the arrangements. The general meeting has always been open to the media in the past. After each meeting, we have responded to questions from reporters. They think it's going to be the same this time. They have been saying for a long time that it is the Genkai nuclear power plant UAP incident, and until it is clarified whether it's a drone or some other phenomenon, it is an unidentified anomalous phenomenon that, you know, people in the government of Japan are digging into it. Can't wait to see where it's going to potentially go, because, you know, the only country who's been really out on the forefront talking about disclosure with regards to the governments and such has been primarily the United States of America. And now to see Japan coming in, that looks pretty interesting, to say the least. Michael, your hand is up.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Japan is going to end up keeping stuff secret like the
Hold
United
on.
States
Everyone can hear you but me. Give me a second here. Why is your audio not? Give me a second here. I got to fix this. Try and talk again, Michael, because Jay, say something for a second, could you?
Hey, can you hear me now?
Okay, no, my audio There it is. Okay, it's back now. Sorry about that. My audio muted itself. Go ahead, Michael, again.
So I'm wondering if Japan is going to do the same thing the States has done, and that is keep all of this stuff classified and secret.
Well, it depends on if Japan calls this out as a matter of national security or not. United States has been heavy hitting on UFOs with regards to national security. I believe Japan is one of our partners that we do sell arms to. And what do you think it's going to go, Mike?
The other interesting thing is that they've done a 180 on all this. Their old policy was basically they didn't want anything to do with it. And, just if you have something to report it to some organization, not to us. So the government has done a 180, and now the parliamentarians are calling for a special committee to do all these investigations and probably do a report.
Yeah, well, they're even just talking about they have a report and some information they want to go ahead and bring out in their usual sessions. And this is the first time that they've actually said, no, we want to bring it out. If we turn the clocks of time back in a year or two, when it was first being brought up by the parliamentarians in Japan, people were snickering and laughing and kind of acting like, are you serious about this? But it seems in that period of time, they've gotten a bit more open to the topic. Now, I wonder, you think the United States government will have enough leverage to go ahead and get them not to bring this up in the way they would want to?
Possibly. But you never know.
Yeah. It's always a problem, isn't it, getting the truth out?
And I also wonder how much of this had to do with incidences. I'm not sure what incidents they were, but incidences around Fukushima.
Right. There were instances that happened in Fukushima right when the overall, if you want to call it, tsunami happened, and there were a bunch of UFOs. Didn't they appear there the day before and then after the incident as well?
Something like that. And some people even hinted that they may have helped shut down the nuclear plant.
Right.
So that it didn't go critical.
Well, yeah, it didn't go critical, but it didn't go as critical as good. Kind of like, weren't there UFO sightings potentially over Chernobyl when that happened as well?
I don't remember. Jay's got his hand up.
Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think when Fukushima was happening, you're correct. There was UFOs all over that area, and there still is to this day, I believe.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of observations of it, and it's not like they're afraid to show themselves, it seems. I wonder if it's because... Could you think...
And they were there for Chernobyl as well. I just can't remember. I think they were there the day before the Chernobyl incident happened.
Right. I wonder if their presence at the nuclear power plants in Japan and how they're a bit more visible compared to what we see here in the United States is because the potential response that the United States military and government puts towards the craft.
Well, it's not only that, it's also the fact that we've got nuclear waste going into the water, and where's their bases at but under the water?
That's true. And yeah, they've been talking about that. They've been taking in...
as well as we are,
Right. So what you're talking about is that there was controversy over it at first, but then they started and did it anyway. They've been going ahead and pumping radiated seawater back into the ocean that basically flooded into the reactor complex, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's got to go somewhere. And if we end up ever getting a global cataclysm, it doesn't matter. All the nuclear power plants are going to be wiped out anyway.
Oh yeah, and I remember when that happened with Fukushima. There was two people swimming at a beach not too far from there, like a mile away, and they actually got radiated in the water from the toxic waste that came, or the nuclear waste that was in the water.
Really, I haven't heard about people getting irradiated from that.
Yes, there was one. It was a couple who was at a beach, not too far away from Fukushima, and they were in the water when the incident had happened, and they came out and they had red skin, like their entire skin was red.
Oh, wow. Like they literally had a radiation burns.
Yes, that's what happened. Yeah.
So I thought Fukushima was able to contain that water.
To a point. To a point. Some of it did leak out into the ocean, to the beach.
Oh, yeah.
They had to oh, what was it? That was a small leak that they had go out, but it was enough to hit that one beach that was really close to it.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. Now looking into some more stuff I've got here. Let me find out a way to get to this. Desktop Thomas. All right, let's get to it. Coming from some posts from UFO and Politics Japan. These are some translated posts over on X. First one, UFO information disclosure will become the trigger for World War III because UFO is equal to free energy, which it will lead to the collapse of the global economic system. If the United States announces it alone, it'll immediately lead to a major war. However, there is one condition that can avoid major war, is that China and Russia possess information of a similar level, and the United States and China disclose the information almost simultaneously. That sounds legitimate.
I think there needs to be a council of all these superpowered countries to get together. All the superpowers get together and make a plan on disclosure and stick to it. If you're going to come out, everybody come out at once. If you're not, make a plan to come out with at least the research so that we can catch up.
But do you think if we can't get it together to get a consensus in the United States, you think they'd be able to do it on a global stage? I don't think so. Maybe.
It'll be much more stickier, but if we have somebody in place in the presidency already that wants disclosure, we'd have a one-up.
True. That is true. Yeah, I guess it depends on, there's always a wantingness potentially from people who are outside of the executive branch to bring up art disclosure. But once they get in the doors of the White House,
it changes pretty quickly.
Oh, it changes very quickly.
Trump saying, I'm going to tell you exactly what the drones are. Then he got in and authorized drones. What? Oh, you didn't know what they were.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And everything back in what's going on in Japan right now is pointing back to, I wonder if President Trump is trying to mask the stigma of the unreleased Epstein information by disclosing UFO information. No, I think we got through Epstein without that, didn't we? We didn't have to play the UFO card.
Yeah. Just let the UFO card go. Let it out of the bag. It's already out of the bag. Everybody knows that, UFOs are real. They're here. It's just say it already.
Yeah. I guess that's that one unread thing that we would love to get, but we don't get. But yeah, interesting nonetheless. All right. You know what? Let's do a survey on this. We haven't done a survey in a while, have we? I don't think so. So let's do a survey. Start a poll. All right. Almost there. Have to make it active. Never use the word will. Just saying. Always talk about stuff in active sense. All right, we got a survey going up here. Let's see where our audience takes us on this one. Hey, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 45 seconds, please.
Okay, 1 minute, 45 seconds. Starting now.
Okay, folks, this is our opportunity. This is your opportunity to go ahead and vote. What do you think? Here we go. All right, what do you think? Japan on UFO disclosure. Japan does it alone? Or does Japan does it with other countries. What do you think where it's going to be at? We're almost at a 50% split, 57%.
I'm going to say Japan does it alone, because if they would do it with other countries, they would need consensus. And like you said, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Rick, go ahead.
I think Japan will follow the U.S.'s footsteps, so I don't think they're going to say anything until we do.
Oh, so you think they're not going to do anything until we say something?
Yes.
Yeah. Personally, it sounds like the parliamentarians are sick of the cover-up. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I agree. I also agree with Jay. They're going to do it alone. They're not gonna. They're not going to wait for any other country to prod them.
Yeah, I don't think so either. We got just 34 seconds left to go. We're split just about where we were at the beginning. 58% of our audience says Japan does it alone. 43% says Japan does it with other countries, with just 20 seconds left to go. This is your chance to go ahead and get the vote in, folks. 69 votes in. Can we get it up to 80? Probably not, but let's hope.
The thing about other countries is they don't all have UFO programs going.
Do they or don't they?
How many of them would have a program like Arrow, you know?
Oh, you mean a cover-up? Probably most of them. Absolutely.
I think the more people involved, the less will come out.
Yeah. Damn, did I do that? Yeah, I did. Let's do to that, go to there. Let's go ahead and end the poll. All right. The audience has spoken. 58% of our audience in the end said Japan does UFO disclosure alone, does not wait for the United States. It's kind of looking like that, maybe. They're willing to do their own thing and try and bring out the truth, versus 42% of the audience that says Japan does it for other countries. So I will go with that, because usually when the audience makes a decision, we go along with it here, don't we, Jay?
We absolutely do, Thomas.
All right, now this next one is a little bit more up your alley. We got a video here of looks like a commercial airliner off in the distance. This is a post over on Reddit. And it said, so I was outside the other night testing a new thermal camera when I saw this airplane coming my way, so I decided to point it right at it. Then all of a sudden, I see this thing descending from the right with a heat signature, which slowly cooled and got lower. Someone tell me what it could be. Let's have the audio down on this. And we've got the initial airliner off the distance. We can kind of see what's going on. And then we're going to get something pop in right here.
Oh, hello.
Hello. What could that be? Bring it down again. Let's pause it. Zoom in on it. Go it frame by frame. Go through it. Kind of looks like a V of a chevron, but
yeah, it's also kind of keeping its shape, but kind of not. It's almost like a upside down or a sideways Y.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
It'll come back in a second. There's the plane still. Still can't find it again. It is completely gone in the trees. Let's show it again. Rick Roberts, go ahead.
I was going to say a flock of geese. I mean, usually they have a couple short on one side of the V of the chevron, but being it disappears like that, I don't know unless the camera's just adjusting the different temperatures. Does that really get thermal?
Yeah, potentially. When I saw it, and I was like, oh, wow, yeah, it looks like a chevron. No, the Mac Geek, it's not a balloon from Party City. What this kind of gives me the appearance of what I'm seeing is something that looks like a hawk or an osprey. It's got wings that's so...
It's its shape, but it's like...
You've got the two wings here, you got the tail of it, and you've got the front of it that kind of goes along the point, almost like you see it on... What could I use here as an... here we go. Use a plastic thing. It's... Here we go.
Yeah,
Remote
Kyle,
control
what do you
black
think?
thing. There we go. You see this thing going, and it's kind of like tilted, and it's kind of going along like that. And maybe I'm wrong, but for me, and you can kind of see if we get to it a little bit in here, a little bit more, where's it at? What do you think, Kyle?
So if you look at it closely on the bottom, it looks like a little stick man walking with no arms.
I'm going back in reverse again. It's hard to tell. Inconclusive, but for me, it has more of that look of a tilted. I don't know how do I show this. It's hard to show it. I have the wrong shape. Let's use Flex Seal. If this would be the hawk, it's kind of like this. It's tilted towards you a little bit. You see the back of it over here going because this is kind of tilted. The bottom of it is tilted.
It could be the way
more
it's coming
toward
into
you.
the atmosphere. Yeah. The way you're seeing it. Okay, I understand what you're trying to say.
There's the
now,
tail
Kyle.
of the hawk. There's the one wing part of it. Here's the central body. Here's the other wing.
I'm going to take a wild guess that is Superman losing his cape.
Superman not here. People can't hear the conversation? They should be able to hear the conversation. Yeah, okay. All our mics should be working, yeah. Looks like a leader. No, it doesn't. Okay, music is still on. Thank you very much for letting me know about that. Thank you. It's done now. Okay, the music is done, everybody. All right, so yeah, it could be that, it could be something else, but one signal intelligence is not enough. I know we do have someone in the back who has a camera like this. He could talk about it if he wanted to, but the question is, will he? No. Silence. Okay, Tim, we know you're there.
The bird.
It's potentially a bird. Let's go ahead and move on. In other news, let's get back to the newsroom here. Get back at we'll stay here for a bit. No easy explanation. Scientists are now debating Dr. Beatrice Villarreal's 70-year-old UFO mystery. As new images come into light, not everyone's agrees with the paper. Now, two new peer-reviewed papers claim thousands of unexplained flashes of light in vintage polymer telescope images show statistical ties to nuclear tests and UFO reports. Not everyone, though, is agreeing with the paper's conclusion. Quote, I suspect that we may eventually look back and see the publication of these results as a turning point for mainstream acceptance of UFOs as a legitimate research topic worthy of academic scientific investigation and earnest coverage in the media. David Wint, a research scientist at Columbia University who was not involved with the papers, told Live Science. Now, Michael Garrett, who was the director of the University of Manchester's Jodrell Banks Center for Astrophysics in the United Kingdom, who was not involved with the studies, said, quote, my main worry is not the quality of the research, but the quality of the data at their disposal, he said. Before Sputnik, the data are poor, especially the anecdotal UFO UAP phenomenon reports, which Villarreal's team acknowledges it did not assess for validity. So whether these mysterious flashes prove to be evidence of UAPs, classified military technology, or simply artifacts of bygone imaging processes, the ongoing debate underscores how science probes the unknown and tests for the extraordinary. Now, Michael, this just sounds like they're looking at everything. They're trying to compare it to evidence of UAPs, classified military technology, or artifacts of a bygone imaging process. I thought the glass panel method that they were using to go ahead and record these images, which they've been doing it since since the late 1800s has been pretty locked down and pretty reliable.
Could be. I mean, that would be the only reason they're using glass plates, because they're accurate, not because they're anything else. So who knows? But
Yeah, it's one of those things everyone has been watching.
So many of those glass plates got destroyed because it would have told us a lot about what we're looking at.
Well, it would have given them, if they had the data from, was it the Mount Palomar Institute is where they had it from, the ones they had over on the East Coast that were destroyed by Dr. Manzel, who was a member of the CIA, who also came in to temporarily head up the astronomy department, I believe it was at Harvard, and went and they destroyed everything. So, under his direction. They didn't get everything, but they got other stuff. But it makes you wonder if there are other glass plates at other observatories around the world that they may be able to shift towards to try and bring out some facts of information.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah. All right, let me go ahead and
If I'm
bring...
not mistaken, the secretary actually, she was the one who saved some of those plates as well.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yes, she was ordered to destroy them, and then she saved them, and then she got fired for it, but at least she saved the plates that she could when she was told to destroy them.
Right. Well, she wasn't told to destroy anything. It was the plates on the East Coast that were destroyed, but it was the plates they found on the West Coast that weren't, that actually showed all these transients. Head on to our next piece here. Come on. Get this downloaded. All right. We've got another video to go over here today, Jay. I'm glad you're around for this. This is some kind of fun stuff to get into. We've got another piece of video. It's coming to us of 4K drone footage, shot of a fast-moving craft over the Arizona desert. This is Castle Hot Springs, Arizona. That took place, about a month ago, coming on October 30th, 2025. Now, this is someone coming to us. Let me just go ahead and throw this up in the background as I go through this. Where am I at? Let's move this down here a little bit. Everybody can see it. Let me just go ahead and turn this on looping. Loop. Then I'll jump into this and we'll start talking through it after we get through it. This is coming from an FAA certified drone pilot. The object we're looking at is kind of right here. I'll zoom on in a bit so you can kind of see what we're dealing with. Coming from an FAA certified drone pilot on October 30th, 2025, he flew his DJI Mavic 3 at about 300 feet above the mountaintop near Castle Hot Springs, Arizona, fully in compliance with FAA regulations and all local laws. While shooting what began as a standard high-definition altitude desert panorama, I captured something unexpected.
That thing is moving. It looks like an orb.
An orb or a sphere flying at high speed across the desert sky. No visible propulsion, no engine noise, and most unusually, it seemed to morph or shift shape slightly mid-flight and do flips. A fighter jet appeared at the high altitude and followed the object, not in sight in the clip. The 4K footage is unmanned aerial, captured under legal conditions, and he believes it qualifies as a genuine UAP sighting worth discussion. Now, he's uploaded this clip so we can judge its authenticity. Now, again, this was done on October 30th, 2025, around 12 p.m. Local time. Location is Mountain Summit near Castle Hot Springs, Arizona. Again, altitude is about 300 feet. Ground level equipment. DJI Mavic 3 description of object as a light sphere orb, high speed, no visible thruster wings, possible shape morphing, followed by a jet at high altitude. He's posting this because the object was captured with a drone and appears likely anomalous. Jay, your thoughts?
I totally agree. It looks anomalous to me as far as the shape shifting and the morphing of it, and it looks like an orb shape. It was fast moving. It looked like it was like, like you said, changing shape, morphing as it was coming down. And then, oh man, that's a good take. That's a really good capture there.
So maybe not completely round, but if you look at it here, it's looking more oblong, isn't it? Almost like a Tic Tac kind of a shape.
Yeah. It could be the angle too. We could be seeing it maybe falling, and then all of a sudden it catches and it goes forward.
Right.
I don't know.
This kind of reminds me of that rubber duck video almost that we had a while ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah, see right there when it's going through there, it's like morphing a little bit when it goes through there.
Right. And it's getting smaller, it looks like. He's
Yeah.
trying to zoom in on it.
It gets smaller because when you see the cactuses in the end of the video, you can see that thing is really small compared to those cactuses. And if it's
Right.
as high off the ground as he's saying, that's getting way smaller.
Which means if he's at 300 feet recording this and he's above it, really, the object.
50. That thing's probably about 50 feet because it's above the tree line. So I'm saying about 50 feet above. But I'm estimating. I mean, it's an estimate.
Right.
But if he's at, that altitude, about 50, 60.
Which means it keeps on going further and further down from his particular craft as he's recording it. Now we're seeing it still there. Yeah, I guess we're seeing it in comparison to those old cactuses, which those old cactuses I hear can be over 100 years old.
Yeah, they can get really tall too.
What do you think, about 30, 40 feet in height?
35 maybe. So if it's over the cactus by a little bit, maybe it's above, maybe 40, 45 feet above the ground.
Right.
Oh, that's actually closer to the ground. That looks like it got closer. Well, no, it's above it still.
It's still above the cactus.
It's still slightly, yeah. Yep. That thing is moving though. And you're right though, it is getting smaller too.
But you know what I'm noticing by it as it's moving along? You see something behind it, then you see something in front of it and behind it as it's moving along. It's not part, and here it is again.
The field. It's like a field.
Right.
Yeah, I see it.
There's something in front of it. There's something behind it, almost like it's maybe circling around it or something.
Okay, yeah.
No, I don't think he's wearing blue blockers, Banana Buoy. Banana Buoy? Yeah, Banana Buoy. All right. But again, here it goes. One frame here.
Yep.
We're getting both. It splits. Goes back to that one there again. It splits again. Now we're getting it splitting behind it. Splitting it in front and behind it. Which almost sounds like a UFO, because generally when we start seeing duplication, that's kind of what we're seeing here, isn't it?
The only other thing that I would say it could be is the lensing effect on the camera, but depending on what it would be that he would be using. But I don't think it's a lensing effect if it's happening in the front and in the back.
Right. I guess we could equate it to compression, but it's on a regular basis to where, again, in the front there, and then we're going to go a couple frames and we're going to get it in the front and back again. This is classic duplication going on. Here it is larger in the back.
Yep.
And if these were things on the ground, they would stay that way going past it, but they're not. Clearly, whatever's going on in front of it, here we go. Now we're getting two of the craft showing up a little bit. Oh, only about halfway through this at this point.
I'd say, yeah, just let it play for a little bit.
Yeah, but when we let it play, we lose the details sometimes. Let me see. Do I have my stupid filters here? Take a look. Where's that? Give me a second here.
But it does look like a classic, I would say not orb, but let's say a plasma ball, because its plasma can morph.
I would say it's an object that has a gravitational warp field around it potentially. And that could be, here we go. I think this is the one. There we go. Filters.
Here we go. Yep, that's definitely a sphere. Now we'll see if it.
No, I'm losing it too much.
Oh yeah, too much.
There it is. Here's the object right here.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see the things that are going around it a bit. There we go. It's duplicating though. There's the one object.
Yeah.
Now you got the stuff behind it, which is
then you
now
have the second one.
turned into two objects. And if I turn off the filter,
Yeah.
it's definitely morphing. No, not morphing. We got duplication going on.
Yeah, duplication. Yeah, definitely. There's single, and then let's see if it does it again. All right. Oh, there it is. Duplicated.
There it is again. Yep.
Yep.
Now
There
there's
it is,
three.
in front.
1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Back to 2. Turn off the filter again so people can see this. We're looking at the object. It's right here.
Does it say what type of drone this was filmed with, or are we going to assume that
It's a DJI Mavic 3.
Okay. It's very, I mean, I own DJI. I own the Mavic 3 and the minis and all that stuff. It's hard for something like that small to keep it in frame. I mean, you have active tracking, but it has to be like the size of a human or a vehicle to pick up what active tracking. For something that small, I couldn't track that with my DJI. I mean, it's
Which
so small.
DJI do you have?
I've had the Mavic 3 and I have the Mini Mavic 2.
Okay.
And I mean, those are so. That's what, I mean, you could. There is a program where you could, do follow me and stuff like that, but it's only so fast. You have to worry about obstacles. How fast this drone is going is almost like a racing FPV drone, but that picture is so stabilized that it makes me think that there's a lens artifact or something in it for how fast he's going.
Yeah.
And that's back to stay within frame like that.
Where the hell did it go? There it is.
If it was military grade equipment, I'd say that definitely could be something with military, but not DJI.
I don't think what we're dealing with here. There's that duplication going on again.
Yeah. 100%. There's
And we haven't seen it go behind anything. So it looks like it's safe to say, the duplication again, that it's gone and stabilized in what it's doing as they're recording it. Again, we're getting those. Turn this back on again. Here's the object. Here's the one behind it. There it is right there again.
Yeah.
Turn off the color correction again so we can see where the hell it is. Where it is up here. Again, you can, there we go, zoom in a bit more.
Oh, yeah, look at that. That's good right there. Ooh. Now you can really see what it looks like.
Right, yeah. I'm just trying to keep an eye in the center of the screen.
Yeah.
Again, something showing up in front of it We're going to get the stuff behind. There we go. Then we're going to get it to where we're going to see the main object, stuff in front and behind again. And check this one out. We've got this one now. We've got a dark one next to it, right? You can almost see a rotation from that spot to that spot.
You know, it could have maybe something around it rotating, and that's where we're seeing the front, the back, the sides, but we only see it at certain points when it goes around. Maybe it does have something rotating around it. We just don't see it in the actual video.
We're seeing little dark things like this that are showing up by it.
Yeah. It's
No.
definitely...
This white object is part of the background. But there we go, it's duplicating again. And the only thing that we're seeing with that duplication effect going on, nothing on the ground has that duplication effect, does it?
No, not from what I can see. It would have to be reflecting. I'm looking for another, like, can you zoom out? Just a second so we could just see. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything on the ground there that could make another duplication off of that.
And it's still not going behind anything. You got the top of the cactus there?
Oh, it's right on the top of that. So we're thinking now it's going lower, right? So it's what, 35 feet?
Well, people say these, in the audience was saying these things can be up to 50 feet tall, I think.
Oh, okay, never mind then. So so it could be 50 feet then.
People are saying it depends on if it's 30 frames a second or 60 frames a second. Okay. I'm showing video details. This is encoded at 30 frames a second. This isn't 60. At least what was uploaded. Granted, I'm 60 frames. This one's 30.
Yeah.
Again, but like as it's moving, you're getting these artifacts. You get in front of it, behind it on a regular basis. And I guess we could blame it on the codec. I'm not going to blame this on the codec.
No, because it happens throughout the entire thing.
Right. And what's nice about this clip is it's 2 minutes and 12 seconds long. It's not one of those videos you see it for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and they're like, oh my God, oh wow, look at that. Like they do on third phase of the moon on a regular basis. This has more of a feeling of a real incident.
There's a lot more that you could look into, like they said about if you get the location, you can get the maximum cactus height in that location, find out how far off the ground it was, and you can do a lot with this video with how long it is.
Now, in this near the end here, it is staying in more of that traditional orb, circular shape kind of.
Yeah. It is more of a circular shape, but like you said, it's got that duplication effect also.
Right. Which at this point, we're not really seeing that much.
No. It's almost like it's stabilized out.
Right. But there it is.
No, a little bit, yeah.
A little bit in front, a little bit in the behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like another ufologist cats they have, one called Fluffy and the other one called Chocolate.
I just like that he got so long of a video because, like you said, 99% of the time, MUFON gets a 10-second video and we're like, what do you want us to do with that? Like, you didn't film the background. You didn't film, anything with the object so we can determine size, height, this, that.
Yeah.
You just have the object in the sky zoomed in. You can't really do much with that.
No, you can't, can you?
No, this has detail. You see the background, you see the images, you can find out where it was filmed, when it was filmed, everything.
Correct. Now, this isn't the original video, so I don't have all the XF data, but at least we got the information. What's interesting, too, sometimes we are seeing that darkened shadow going around it, which we see sometimes in a lot of UFO videos.
Well, you see, go back real quick, Thomas. Right there. All right.
Right there.
You see now you have the sun on top, and you have, or the sun at an angle, and you have the shadowing below it. So yeah, that's an object. You can't say that's not.
Right. So that what we're seeing is something from the sun. Shadowing it, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. It's hitting the object and shadowing the bottom. So yeah, it's a real object, though.
And what it seems to be doing now. Let me zoom out of this. It's changing direction.
Yeah, it is a little
They
bit.
zoomed out. Or is it because they zoomed in a little bit? But it seems to be more flattening out at this point.
It might be slightly changing direction, but I don't think possibly, yeah. It looks to be slightly. It's like slightly.
And those things in front of it and behind it keep on showing up, although they're getting a bit lighter right now. It's a regular part of the observation of this object. You can't deny.
Yeah, there's something to this. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%. Great capture. Yeah. Wow. That's a real nice one. I hope they go and get it further investigated. Send it to MUFON, send it to another research group, send it to somebody, and get more scrutiny on it. You know what I mean? If it's really something great, get it out there.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I think it is. I do. I could see it.
Let's see if. Okay, that looks like a duck now.
Hey, Thomas, what does the audience think? Let's do a survey.
Yep, let's go ahead and do that. Good idea. Survey. Start a poll. All right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to give a speed estimate on this. I saw somebody.
It's hard to tell. So I guess we're going to go ahead and just go ahead and do this one. Let's find it. And I want to go ahead and. Why won't it let me? Sorry, survey's being a pain in the ass today.
I know. I agree, though. It definitely could be another boogosphere or some kind of spherical thing, but it's not totally a sphere because of the warping and the warping effect it's doing.
Yeah, well,
which could be lensing, gravitational, could be a bunch of stuff. So
yeah, all right. So we got another survey going for our folks here. The desert object we've been looking at here, is it truly anonymous? Is it prosaic like a balloon, or who the hell knows? Hey, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds, please.
Sure. 1 minute, 30 seconds. And we're starting now.
And I promise I will try to remember to turn off the sound effects when we're done with this. Jay, what do you think this is? Anomalous, prosaic, or who knows?
I'm gonna say anomalous, but I want more information.
Yeah, exactly. Michael Sokoloff, what say you?
Truly anomalous. And I also think when you say who knows, that's anomalous as well.
Yeah,
So
good point.
The audience that thinks it's anomalous.
Yeah, what do you think, Laura? If I may ask you.
Not anonymous.
Anomalous?
Anomalous, yeah.
Dun,
It's
dun,
too hard
dun,
to
dun.
tell. We don't have enough information.
Yeah, exactly. All right, with only 38 seconds left to go, let's see where our audience takes it. I don't think we're going to change right now. Truly Anomalous is in the lead at 43%, with Who Knows, which is kind of anomalous anyway. We don't know what the hell this is. The biggest thing, saying it's something prosaic. There you go. Okay, with 14 seconds left to go, again, 72 votes in. I don't think our numbers are going to change much at all at this point. I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot of this or posterity, and I'll go ahead and record it, and I will end the poll. There we go. So final stats from our audience. Here we go. Where did that go? I just had it up here. 43% of our audience thinks it's truly anomalous, which 38% of our audience says who knows, which is anomalous. Could be one thing or the other, or it's prosaic. So, I like to see that a majority of the people out here aren't saying, yes, it's a balloon, it's swamp gas, all the kind of stuff. Although swamp gas, we're not going to be seeing any of that kind of stuff going on. Now, Jay, here's, I believe, where we're seeing the direction change. Before it was going down on an angle, and now it's kind of leveled off and it's going horizontal to the ground.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think
it's not a bit of a lift up now.
Yeah, it made a slight direction change, an angular change on direction. See, it's like going up.
Yes.
Kind of. Yep.
Relative to the observer.
What's recording this?
A drone operator who was recording for a resort, but he picked it up in his feed and kept his eyes on it. So it's a professional drone operator who's bringing this up and going through it.
Well, he did a great job capturing it. Like I think Rick was saying in the back that it is very, very hard to keep something like that in focus with a drone video camera, even with the tracking, because
I think we've lost it here.
Of the size of it. But he seemed to have done it, And it could be that he's a professional drone operator, so he can, do this kind of thing better than some other person. I'm not sure.
Now, this is different from one of the videos. They said, we had a drone up over the city and we're doing recording for a wedding, and they were showing it going across, and they had something that showed up instantly and then shot off to the screen. But the drone camera chased it perfectly, unless you're set up to chase that kind of a small object. Sometimes you just have to look at some of these things and getting into it. Now, it looks like this is about where the object is about to go out of view. It's still right here. Let me see if I can turn on the filters again. I can bring it back. It's right here. And it's gone. So the object is here. It's moving along. It's right here. It's right here. And it's gone.
Stop. It could have stopped right
It stopped right there.
It literally came to a dead stop, I think, right there. How? Yeah, that's anonymous. Yeah.
It vanished right here.
Oh my God.
Here it is right
I
here.
can't say that word.
There it is right there, still right here, and it's gone.
It either stops or it's not visible anymore in the spectrum.
Right. Because it should be right
or
in this
or to
area.
the hillside. I like that answer. It could have been like the Skinwalker Ranch. They had objects flying in and out of mountains.
Yep. Now the drone operator's trying to figure out where the heck this thing is at, and it's gone. And there's a good reference of how close he was zoomed into the background. But there you go. It went, and it was shot in 4K. So yeah, truly anomalous of an object. Interesting.
Yeah, great video. Great video.
Watch TV, baby.
Absolutely. Let's see what else we've got going on here from my windows. Okay, we've got that one. No, we don't need to cover him. We've got that one. Is there another one? No. On. Now, some people have gone and posted this on YouTube, but yeah, someone else said, as a drone pilot myself, forget the UAP object for a second. The real mystery is how you manage to keep it in frame that smooth. That's some UFO level piloting there. Nice job.
Now that I'm watching that video, it looks like the drone is a lot. So this is probably like a Mavic Zoom that has, I think, has a 10x optical zoom and like 100 digital zoom or whatever it is. But it looks like the drone's a lot higher. So he was probably taking the overhead view.
Right.
And then once he picked up the object, it looks like he's tracking it with the zoom of the camera and maybe steadily going along with it, trying to hold it within the frame of the picture. But that's still hard because, you know, if you're doing like the Mavic Zoom, it has obstacle avoidance, and they're going to go super fast because it's also trying to look for obstacles as you're looking at the camera view, but it's also trying to look for obstacles to make sure it's not going to hit. And that's just, but looking at the video more, it looks like it's further up, a lot further up, and he's zooming in on that little object.
Mm-hmm. Your best.
Hey, what is, Rick, you said you had one of those drones. What is the maximum height that drone can get up to?
I don't know. I've never taken it really high. They're very expensive. I have the Mavic 3, and I sold it because I didn't really want to risk
You didn't want to
losing it.
test it and draw it and break it?
Right. I mean, I've flown like 2 miles away out of sight of range with my mini Mavic, and I was just like, that's a lot cheaper drone. Had great video quality. You know, I could still see for like 2.5 miles away. It all depends on
like maximum height straight up in the air. How far do you think?
I don't know. I couldn't say. I didn't remember paying attention to how high.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Somebody said 400-foot legal.
Oh, it's way beyond that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd say maybe 1,000, maybe close to 1,000.
I would say more than that, probably.
Really?
Well,
Okay.
he said he was
I
about
was
300
thinking
feet up when he was recording this.
300 feet up.
Still interesting as all hell. Just got to say that.
How
That was one
long
of the
is that
reasons I've
video
actually
at
had this on
normal
bookmark since Friday. So
Thomas, how long is that video at normal speed?
2 minutes and 12 seconds. And it's around for about a minute 50 because the last 20 seconds or so, it's trying to find it. So Tim in the back says it's at 400 feet limit for drones. Now, is that national or is that just in Arizona out in the desert? Could be national because it's coming from the, what do you want to call it?
Restrictions or
Coming from
something.
the FAA regulations on this.
So the specs say that the flight altitude is limited, typically set to 500 meters, 1,640 feet above the takeoff point in the DJI app.
Okay.
So 1,640 feet.
Better than that. So yeah, there we go.
I'm glad you're here, Rick.
Well, yeah. It helps to have someone who can do the research on the fly besides me.
Yeah.
All right, if you're having fun, folks, you've been with us so long. We have 247 great viewers with us right now. If you haven't given us a thumbs up or haven't given us a subscribe yet, we'd love to have you as a regular. I only ask once during every show, and we're far enough in to say, hey, if you're enjoying us, give us another chance. We'd love to have you here as a regular on Disclosure tonight. We're trying to hit, 17,600. We've been stuck here for a while, but we're pretty close. Would love to have you as a regular and part of the Disclosure Tonight family. All right, so I've got another video I want to go ahead and bring up, getting from UFOs in the sky. I've got one here coming from Suspicious Observers. Dr. Ben Davidson talking to us about, there was an X-class solar flare we had today. Luckily, it's missing us, but it's that same group that gave us all the X flares last time around, that gave us that great roar about 3 weeks ago. It's coming back, folks, and can't wait to see where it's going to go. So let's play this clip. Here we go.
Good morning, folks. Welcome, observers. Today we are laser focused on the sun because, as we predicted yesterday morning, the X-class solar flares are back. We'll also hit weather, a seismic anomaly, and the second of those major papers on pole shift radiation, the one we promised yesterday, but this is the last 24 hours on our star, and unless you had your eyes closed at the opening, you likely noticed the X-class solar flare already, top left. Long duration pop and plasma release, as the plasma took several hours to regain magnetic orientation in the wake of the eruption. A filament destabilized ahead of the active region, and the plasma and electric fields set off the umbral fields above the sunspot, releasing the flare. The eruption reached a peak of X 1.9 class, nearly X2, and it launched a pretty spectacular CME into space despite much of the plasma raining back down. Coronagraphs show a wildly wide burst. Core cone of the CME heading up and left, but is that the edge of a halo eruption going right and south of that central blocking disk? I think so. While not scary because it is just the edge of the eruption, that is a big player there. Earth is in the firing line now, and that goes double for this guy on the south. Folks, you do not need a telescope or even binoculars to see this sunspot, although they do help. You do need to dim the light like UV blockers or a welding lens or like 4 pairs of sunglasses, but yes, you can see this very easily from the ground. Space weather alert is high, and we're watching. Up next, folks, the polar vortex is driving Arctic air directly into the United States and Canada. The upper jets just below them are doing it as well and sliding that air into the slot, the dip in the lower, more controlling jet stream. And that's why it went below freezing in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and some of the Gulf states overnight. Folks, this is weird. No magnitude 5 or higher earthquakes for 24 hours. Sure, the magnitude 6s come in spurts, but there's usually at least one magnitude 5. We'll be watching this too. First article today confirms and expands on the science of the Intelsat 33's destruction during the October 2024 solar storm. They say the fragmentation evidence tells them 100% it built up too much electric potential, and then an internal discharge event occurred and it blew up the satellite. Lastly, on the science front, the big story. The other pole shift radiation article we promised. Yesterday's was related because of the biological aspect exploration, but this one is directly measuring the impact of pole shifts on the ion flux from space, particularly here, beryllium. This is known to spike very well when the field collapses and our planet is left vulnerable during a geomagnetic excursion, and the biggest takeaway here is the confirmation that the Iceland Basin event was worse than LeChamp. The old mark suggested 60 to 200% increase in ion flux for LeChamp, the strongest known excursion. But now, we have Iceland Basin at 208%, about 190,000 years ago. And there were actually a couple others in the 150% range. The previous 100,000 years looks like it was much harsher than the most recent one, and indeed, LeChamp is not as bad as it can get. Still hoping we're not getting anything like that this cycle, still very much hoping this will be a minor one. The next winter tour event is in 2 weeks in San Diego, Orlando in about 6 weeks. A couple months and then we've got Dallas and Las Vegas for our own version of March Madness. Grab your tickets now at the link below. And folks, today is the last day for 20% off in person at the Observer Ranch store, 10% off online when you use the code GivingThanks. Everything is there, including all the children's books for Christmas. The kids do love those. And while the PDF of our major textbook is available, there are a couple of those physical copies left too. Of course, consider the Observer Ranch membership if you plan to come see us or you just want to support the group. It comes with free nights at the ranch, your name on the founder wall, access to the health center at the ranch during your stay, discounts, and more. Link to that is below with the rest, and we greatly appreciate your support. We'll do this all again tomorrow, right here, but right now at 6 a.m. in the new Valley of the Sun. Eyes open, no fear. Be safe, everyone.
There you go. Latest update from suspicious observers coming in. Now, Jay, we do have another video coming in. This one's coming from Michael Shermer over on X. And granted, while he's got 246,000 followers and only follows 253 people, he's calling this out as another triangular UAP. Or he's getting that, but the aliens were smart enough to add blinking lights matching those of commercial airliners as the dupe dogmatic skeptics and ignoring what's really going on. Disclosure of the truth is coming in. And would you look at that? It's a commercial airliner being called out as a UAP.
Commercial airliner.
What is it with these people who keep on? I mean, you can see the back part of the plane with the tail. What is it with these people who keep on calling out, Jay, that you've got, if you want to call it, things that are clearly prosaic aircraft, but they're calling out and saying, no, these are the aliens pretending that they're an aircraft to confuse us.
This is the same thing that we were talking about before, that the airwaves and the video waves or pictures and everything, they're going to be flooded by stuff like this that are just like nothing. That way, when somebody gets into the topic, they're going to think it's nothing. Like, no, like, we got to call this out.
Trust me, bro.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a shape-shifting aircraft. It just looks like a commercial aircraft.
Oh,
like
it went from an orb in the distance, and as it got closer, it transformed into a plane. Oh, in other words, when it was farther away, all the lights merged into a single object because it was so far away. And as it got closer, the digital resolution came in, so you could see all the separate lights.
Yeah, the detail was clear because it was closer. The lights weren't blinding the effect of the camera trying to zoom in on the exact light that's coming in front of it. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
The UFO field is not stupid. However, this is going to continue to happen, and it's going to get better. You know, it's not going to be just stuff like this. It's going to be stuff that looks real that is just AI, and it's gonna come to that because more and more people want to flood the airwaves now with, prosaic objects and say there's something great, and they're not.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, I guess this comes down to the people who want the facts, right? They want the truth. But in reality, there's people who just want the facts and want the truth. And then there's the group of people who want to believe. And the people who want to believe, right?
Yeah. It's almost like when the Arizona governor came out with that alien on stage and said, we got the culprit right here. Like, come on. Now, you had 2,000 people of your own constituents that wanted you to investigate the Phoenix Lights, and you come out with an alien on stage. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Christ, yeah. Exactly. It's just one of those things. I'm just going through the latest things over on X right now. Yeah, it's a shit show, my friend. There's not a lot of stuff going on with Disclosure right now. Used to have a lot of conversations, a lot of stuff happening, but it's deader than a frickin' doornail.
It definitely is. There's nothing going on. No more UAPDA, no more hearings, no more this, no more that. What is it? Oh my gosh.
Well, even the trolls are leaving us alone, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing too.
Trying
Oh,
to.
that's what I was gonna say. Isn't the UFO group that's investigating for the government? Aren't they done by the end of the year?
You mean the Secrets Task Force?
Yeah, the task force. Yeah,
Well, they
they're
were
done
given an
by the end of the
extension
year,
for
aren't they?
6 more months. They haven't talked about the date they're going to end, and they're going to be going on a field trip soon to, where is it they're going to? They're going to Roswell to see what? Not a lot of
Probably
anything.
There's nothing there.
I know.
They moved it all. Like, why would you go to Roswell? You're at the last place everything would be.
Yep, exactly. Now, if I can go ahead and bring this one up, I'll just bring up my Twitter feed, and don't prosecute me if there's something people don't like. It'll be PC, don't worry. All right, let's get back into this here real quick. I've got some additional things to kind of sew together a bunch of stuff. Rick Roberts, your hand is up, my friend.
I think syrup was first.
Syrup, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you if you heard anything, any more news on the Nazca mummies. I guess there was another. It sounds like they found like a whole graveyard for them. You just keep finding new ones.
I haven't seen videos or pictures of that yet. But it's something, as soon as it's out there, and it'll probably be in my feed, or I know our friends at Cosmic Road will be the first ones to cover that. And I have not seen that yet. But thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, some of the ones look decent. Now, some people, you gotta wonder, some people are saying, why is all this stuff up in the Andes and so high of if you want to call it, altitude? If you look at the world, right? And when the giant oceans come and slosh and everything, the only thing that really survives down in South America is the stuff up by the Andes. So, don't forget, we've also got the non-humans, whatever they are, that have the long, elongated skulls. They were initially found up in Crimea, Russia-Ukraine area. But then somehow they migrated from there all the way down to the high parts of the Andes in Peru, which makes you wonder if they migrated before the whole catastrophe happened and they went to that area for being a safe place to be during the catastrophe. Rick, your hand is up.
Have you had any updates on the 3-eye atlas? I kind of caught a brief thing about it today. I think Avi Loeb is claiming that you can see jets pulsing from different directions. It's making course corrections. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, but that's Avi Loeb, and we haven't heard anything more about that from other actually observatories, so anything that he's going to kick out is highly suspect.
Okay.
I mean, remember they had said last week, oh my God, look, it's broken into 3 objects that are orbiting around each other, and did it actually break into 3 objects? No. There's a lot of misinformation coming out there about that, Rick, unfortunately.
Well, I can't believe NASA did a huge rollout of their briefing, but they still have yet to release the pictures that they have. What is up with that? Are they busy scrubbing them?
No, the images that were brought from NASA were actually single images from the telescopes and the arrays. Generally speaking, when they bring out an image, they'll do something called stacking, where you take multiple long-term exposures and you stack them one on top of the other until you get an image with greater resolution. If NASA had gone back, had taken that traditional approach, the images shown from NASA would have been of a lot higher quality. But they chose not to go ahead and do any manipulation on the actual frames and give you the actual results of what they saw. All right, getting back into this for the last few things we've got going
Just
here
remember,
on the...
never a straight answer is NASA.
Not a space agency. That's right, because they're not. They're an intelligence agency now, right?
Surveillance agency.
Oh, yeah. Now a surveillance agency. Yes, exactly. All right, let's get back into the last few things here. Where are we at? Desktop, Thomas. All right, so we're talking about the solar cycle. Usually it's a peak that comes down relatively fast, but what they're seeing now is the overall peak of the solar cycle, which happens sometime the end of 2024 into 2025, is going down, but it's kind of leveling off, and they're expecting a slow, gradual recession of that going on.
It
Now,
looks like when we see behind it as well in the front of it that it had a slow, a little dip too in the front.
oh yeah,
Same
there you
thing
go.
as it
That's
was in
true.
the back.
Which means this dip could go a little bit farther than it is now and still peak up a little bit.
Yes.
Let me bring that up. So what you're talking about is this dip right here. We're kind of leveled off before it peaked and came down as leveling off before it's going to drop.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it could peak again and then level, and then drop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now, this is an interesting thing. This is up in Peru. There are precision-cut megalithic stones that have not been made out of the local, if you want to call it, bedrock, but the locals call them the Las Piedras Cansadas, or the tired stones. So what they've got is really large stones, almost look like they're for a particular structure or something, just strewn about the landscape, like they were trying to get them somewhere, and they got blown away on the way there.
I believe is the largest. It's almost
Yeah, it's almost like they were carrying them, and then like say they were carrying them in a cart. The cart got smashed or blown up from the side, and that they got scattered. They got thrown off.
There was some kind of massive thing that was used to go ahead and transport those, and midstream, wherever they're taking them to. Now, one of the things I want to bring up that a lot of people don't know, you know how we have a lot of the different sites in Peru with all the interlocking blocks and everything, the giant megalithic stones that are there, the stuff down in Pumapunku, where it's completely aligned and everything. In the late 1800s, early 1900s, majority of the structures that were around there were all blown up with dynamite.
Yes.
To go ahead and build the railroads. So a lot of these structures where they're all blown apart and there's all these different pieces in ruin, the main reason that's there is because humans came in, wanted to use those rocks for the railroad, and blew the stuff up.
Also, indigenous cultures newer cultures that moved into the area, they took apart those older structures and used those blocks for their own means without, blowing them up. They used them for their own houses.
Right. Now, apparently I've got audio in the background somewhere. I don't know where it's coming from, and it sounds like wind. I apologize for that. I've turned off my desktop audio. That should take care of the problem, if there was such going on. Something interesting in Peru, they've actually been finding additional pyramidal shaped structures, like terraces that are going on. They've been, going ahead and ripping these things or clearing the ground around these things for over 5 years. And it's just more and more things that they're actually finding that are out there. Yes, it's not blowing anymore. I've turned off the blower. So interesting to see they keep on finding more and more stuff up in the upper highlands of Peru. And this is where he's actually at an elevation that's higher than Cusco, the ancient ruins that are out there. Let's see what else we've got going out in here. All right. Non-human. All right. Brian Rommel is a researcher in space and science and UFOs. And more importantly, he's been doing a lot of researching, finding materials for AI that can be used. He's actually been going out and discovering tons of materials that have been archived on microfiche, things we've paid billions of dollars for scientists to go research in the 70s and the 80s. And all the information is out there, but it's getting completely forgotten and going past it. So Brian has figured out a way how to mass go ahead and ingest all of the different punch cards from times, all the ancient microfiches, to bring in all the scientific work and use it to go ahead and, if you want to call it, add to our scientific knowledge of what we've got going on. One of the things that he's got going right now is in a bunch of talking about a field resonance propulsion concept. This is something we'll cover on another show because this is a deep one. Wanted to throw it out there because this is stuff that was researched by NASA back in 1979. They've got novel methods of talking about anti-gravitic propulsion and otherwise this stuff could work, how it could work, manipulating time, space, and space-time. The stuff wasn't classified. However, it's been locked away back in the vaults, kind of like what you'd see in the end of... I've been looking for this. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the only thing that is bad about this now is, August. I wish this would have came out before NASA became a security agency, so we could have FOIA'd and gotten updated information.
All of this information from all these different agencies is all public information, and it's just a warehouse in these places. And you have all these old women in their 60s, 70s, if not later, who are still the librarians and overseers of this. And they're so happy that people are coming and wanting to get access to this. And it's not just about taking all this information and throwing it out in the dumpster.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, so this one gets into dealing with different forms of gravity, how it interacts with the sun, the galactic center, the energy that's available, almost talking about 0 point. So this is one of the things that we're going to be getting into. Oh, no, that's a bad husky videos. Okay. This is coming from the Disclosure Party, a little 30-second clip here. Former Soviet fleet Admiral Vladimir N. Chernavin, the last commander in the chief of the Soviet Navy, stated in interviews that UFOs are real and that the Russian naval crews have repeatedly seen unidentified craft diving into and emerging from the North Atlantic Ocean. Go figure. So let's go ahead and take this down. Let's go on. It said, I've seen with my eyes very luminous objects that were maneuvering in the night. They have plunged into the water and they took off out of the water. That's what I saw. They didn't attack us. They were only maneuvering. What was it? I can't tell you. But that's what we saw, myself and the crew, during one of our missions in the North Atlantic Ocean during a very dark night. Now, here's the thing. This kind of stuff that he talks about here, does he have any reason to lie or do anything? I think he's just trying to share the frickin' truth.
He just wants to share the story that he knows that is true because he wants to get it out before anybody else, I believe. That try to, like it, and it's genuine, I believe, coming from what, he has said, that it came out. That's what he saw. He just wanted to come out with it. He doesn't know what it is, but that's what him and his crew saw.
He wants to share his story before he's gone, before that information is forever forgotten about.
Yeah. We'll be getting a lot of them coming out, I believe, in the next couple of years that, are on their, last legs and are like, I want to get this out.
But I think we may have a greater chance to have this coming from people in the military, from foreign governments, than we are going to be getting it from the actual people here in the United States. For some reason, they're even afraid to go ahead and bring up this truth on their deathbed.
Well, then you bring up, the execution clause and all this stuff that everybody's trying to bring up. Like, the United States is a tricky subject when it comes to disclosing things.
Yeah. That it certainly does, my friend. We got Japan. We talked about that. All right. One of the quotes that we've heard from Gary Nolan and stuff in the past many times is the non-human intelligence monitoring humanity. Dr. Gary Nolan says that if something is here, it's likely been here longer than humans have ever been civilized. Let's listen to this. Is coming from the Jordan B. Peterson podcast. Let's play this little 30-second clip and reflect on it.
I conclude that there's definitely something here. But I think the more interesting conclusion...
Hold on. I'm on the wrong browser. That's why. Here we go.
...is if something is here, it's likely been here longer than humans have even been civilized. So it really opens the question.
Yeah, there's no sound.
Okay, sorry about that. There's no sound for the friends in the back. I noticed that. Let me get over to the Brave browser. Sorry about that, folks, in the back. Okay, I just need to find really quick. Okay, there's Brave. If I go to Brave, and I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, I need to find out... Give me a second here. I need to find out where the sound effect in the background is coming from. Is it QuickTime? It was QuickTime playing in the background. Okay, so let's go back into Brave. Let me go to this link. All right, we're not going to get to there. I'll just find it this way. Okay, here we go, audience and the friends in the back, so you'll be able to hear this one more time.
I conclude that there's definitely something here. But I think the more interesting conclusion is if something is here, it's likely been here longer than humans have even been civilized. So it really opens the question, and actually it's something that I think Charles Fort actually said, is, Earth is probably somebody else's property.
Well, that's a hell of a place to...
Someone else's property. That's something we've been saying for a while.
Yeah, we've been saying that for a long time, Thomas.
Yeah. We've never had domain over our skies. We've never had domain over our waterways. We've never had domain over our countries. We always act like we're in control of everything, but the reality is we've never been in control of anything except when it comes down to humanity. I mean, Elizondo said it wonderfully in his last interview that we've seen on the Age of Disclosure. There's an alpha predator here, and it's not humans.
Yes, that was beautifully said.
And
also,
we're not the top of the food chain.
Yeah, and I agree with the cataclysm theory. Like if humans were around beforehand and there was a cataclysm, what would we do if something happened right now and there was a cataclysm? Some of us would try to leave the planet on spaceships, probably the rich people. And us people on Earth would try to dig in, go underground, and live out the cataclysm.
That's if we have a warning. You're talking like Darren Kuyu in Turkey, all across Northern Europe and other areas where there's all these ancient cities that are under the ground or in the sides of mountains. And they weren't set up in ways to go ahead and create these locations because they needed to get away from man. They were doing something to get away from something that was on the surface of the earth that clearly wasn't man and wasn't attacking them. And you almost have to wonder, after we had a cataclysm of something went on, what kind of building materials are going to be left? Not a lot of things, are there, Jay?
I also like it how there was a door on the inside of one of these structures that you're talking about that are in the underground that can only be shut and opened from the inside. And it was a 5-ton door, but you could move it with your pinky.
Yeah, it was a giant circular piece that just rolled into place. But here's the thing, in that same complex, there were vents up top that allowed sunlight and air to come in and would also allow any human invaders to potentially come in as well.
Typically, yes, but I mean, you could have stuff set up inside of there as well that they come down and get, hurt or whatever. But I mean, it's an ingenious idea to dig in during a cataclysm, and if it happened before, it could happen again.
Oh, yeah. And how long has humanity been really truly civilized? 200,000 years? Is that what he's talking? As far back, or is he only talking 8, 10,000, 12,000 years? Because if that's the case, humanity has gone through many cycles of birth and being destroyed and being reborn.
Yes.
Here's the thing. You take out 98% of the population, Jay. You take away all of our technology, all of our books, all of our writing information, everything. How long does it take before we forget everything? A generation or two at the most.
Yeah, not very long. Not very long, Thomas, because you need to further the education of the population. If you don't, then you're going to be stagnated in education.
And you'll fall back.
You will fall back.
Just like the education system in the United States.
It's just like if we get hit by a solar flare again. We got hit by one, and the telegraph lines caught on fire, and we're shocking the telegraph ladies.
I mean, here's the thing. You take away all of our technology, right? You shut it all down, all of it. All of our transportation systems, all of our technology, all of our power and everything. Humanity is not going to last that long. You lose all your power, you lose your food infrastructure, your food security and everything.
Humanity would need to relocate where it would be geothermally possible to stay there next to the equator.
Well, that's also, don't forget that there's also a theory going on that not only do we get these catastrophic waves, but the Earth also turns as it keeps on rotating. So it kind of puts...
Flip.
Well, they get the magnetic flip that goes on, but there's also a crustal unlock that even Einstein was talking about back in the day that reorients the North and South Pole geographically, and they actually come up to almost where the equators are.
Lovely.
Oh, yeah. Add that,
Well,
98% of the people
follow-
population's gone. Yeah, it's going to make a very interesting situation, to say the least.
Well, that's when you start following these mega millionaires, and they're you're going to build your bunker over here on this place, on this island, this country. Why? And
Well, the one who screwed up the most probably is Mark Zuckerberg. He did an underground facility in Hawaii. Whoops.
what was that?
He loves Hawaii, though, with Oprah. But let's move on. All right, so here we've got one additional person. This is coming from Dr. Malcolm Curie, who is a PhD for engineering from California, the DoD Undersecretary for Research and Engineering. He was a multiple intelligence community IEEE and engineering awards. And before his death, he actually... Defense Research and Engineering, he was the ex-CEO of Hughes Aircraft. Weren't they taken over by Lockheed? I think so.
Lockheed Martin, yeah.
Yep, a major Cold War defense contractor. Dr. Malcolm Curie states let's go ahead and back to it, and let's play him. He has passed away. Thank you, but we love people like this when they're coming out and saying stuff before they pass.
Malcolm Curie, and there are aliens.
Malcolm Curie, and there are aliens, and they're just now going through everywhere, showing all the awards, everything that he's done, everything that he's brought forward, to go ahead and say, yeah, I've done a lot of shit. I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There we go. All right, there we got Hawaii stuff. No. Okay, everyone's still talking about this. Donald Trump is reportedly preparing to declassify secret UAP files, arguing that Americans have the right to know the truth about potential extraterrestrial encounters. Just want to say everything on this right now, although we've covered it, is still in speculation. There is no verification. The president will be bringing out the truth on this. But, fingers crossed. Let's go. Let's hope
There's a special report or something I heard from the back chat. He's supposed to be coming out with something on Tuesday or something Tuesday afternoon. I believe that it's going to be that we are going to do ground attacks on Venezuela and we're going in. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, I think we'll do air attacks before we do ground.
I think
we'll see. We'll see.
We can do both.
Yeah, potentially. Dr. Stephen Greer is back. DC Muscle Wolf himself. Search it. You don't want to look at the pictures, folks.
No.
He's just alleged that the new Age of Disclosure movie is a psychological warfare operation. Yes, that's right, folks. The man who gave us no. This film is an attempt to hijack the UFO disclosure into a false narrative that prevents it as a threat. Oh, that's right, because he's got Bijou.
You know how Mike has his arch enemy and stuff? Mike, the one who's not here tonight.
Yeah.
That he's my arch enemy right here. I cannot stand Stephen Greer.
Yeah. Well, he's the one who's been saying for the longest time all the UFOs are ours. None of them are from the non-human intelligence.
But he wants to go ahead and charge you $7,000 to make contact with non-human intelligence that he says is ours.
Yeah. Exactly. So let's get into this. It's made by operatives. Okay, the film is an attempt for the UFO disclosure to a false narrative presenting it as a threat. Well, it probably is a threat. Let's just be honest. It's made by operatives for the cabal that have been keeping this secret for years. The best disinformation is a combination of fact. They fold it into these facts and false narratives and false spin, kind of like what he does with Third Phase of the Moon and their fake UFO videos all the time.
Yes.
In the film, it mentions, yes, there's been a reverse engineering program for 80 years dealing with retrieved non-human craft, but that nothing in the skies we're looking at is a result of it. That's all alien, including the Tic Tac, which we have established was a Lockheed Skunk Works device. So there you go. There is the true answer, Jay, of where did Representative Burleson's accounting that, yes, the Tic Tacs were from Lockheed Martin. Came from Dr. Stephen Greer. I thought he would have known better by now.
Yeah, we all know better by now that Stephen Greer likes to tell a tall tale to get some money, too.
Oh, yeah. Hey, don't forget his his C-SETI operation back as far as 2010, 11, 12 back then was pulling in almost $500,000 a year being funneled right to Stephen Greer.
Oh, my God.
Now, today he's got like 4 or 5 of these organizations. Imagine where he's at now.
And the one story that I hate him telling every single time he's on there is, oh, I was offered $2 billion and I turned it down. I was like, yeah, okay, right. Of course you did it.
Yeah. On top of that secret operation in Syria that not that many years ago, and another one in the early 90s being offloaded from C-130 transport for use in the first Gulf War. Why? If you have a craft that can go 56,000 miles per hour in an instant, why would you have to fly it in a C-130 for the Gulf War to a different part of the planet to operate?
Unless you were field testing it, that's the only reason why you would fly it out there. Maybe the fact is they had to fly it. The only reason.
But he's saying all the Tic Tacs are. He's saying all the Tic Tacs are ours.
I know, but I'm just speculating, but on what he's saying. But if it's true that it did go on the C-130, the only reason you do that is they don't want to fly it over U.S. airspace. They want to fly it over enemy airspace. That way they could easily pick it back up again if it fails.
Yeah. Oh, and another video that's out there, Dr. Stephen Greer and Blake Cousins from the Kissing Cousins brothers out there are blaming Lou Elizondo for the term the Felon 5. Just to be clear, that wasn't Lou. Lou is parroting another person. And if you want to talk to that person and figure out what it is, guys, go find Rob.
And if you want to look at real people that want like money, like right after Age of Disclosure came out, Stephen Greer comes out with Age of Deception.
Well, he's got that, but it was also the War of Disclosure, and I brought that up in the last show where God, where's that at? I brought up the 2 things, and you look at his title card for for his video, the Age of Disclosure, or the War of Disclosure, whatever it is, it's almost identical.
It does. It's playing right off of it. Like I said, he wants the clickbait. He wants the people to drift away from. He's trying to pull people away from the actual topic that we should be focusing on.
Talking about grifters out there, Michael Shermer calls the entire UAP UFO community a grift. But examining his own IRS filings, he's paid as a professional skeptic, pulling in 6 figures in 2023, while his nonprofit reports $675,000 in revenue and $1.45 million in assets.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're saying we maintain a telephone referral service and a website so that schools, the press, and the general public can access our information. We tirelessly lend our scientific viewpoint to the media coverage of a wide range of issues. In our print catalog, in our Skeptic magazine, along with our online shop, we offer an extensive catalog of scientific and skeptical books and audio and video recordings. Wow. Sounds like this skeptic is actually banking pretty well.
Yeah.
However, I think Stephen Greer may be doing better than he is.
Yeah, he needs to upgrade to cruises.
Yeah. Another one from an anonymous user. Wow, what a disingenuous piece of shit. Yes, they've got Greenstreet, West, and Shermer all together, calling them the Pentagon propagandists. What else do we've got? All right, don't forget. UFOs are real. People get effects. The Cash Landerman UFO incident that happened down in Texas back in the day. The 2 women who were in the car. They got exposed to radiation. They got radiation burns on their arms, on their hands, and they died of cancer from radiation.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
That was a very, now did that case eventually, that case made it into court, didn't it? They won that court case, didn't they?
Finally, they did. The federal government refused to go ahead and pay for any of their medical bills or their deaths or anything, and I believe they finally took them to court, and they were forced to pay.
Yeah. I'm glad that something happened, before they had passed away, and at least they saw their vindication from all this. You know what I mean?
Exactly. If we can, we've got Alice in the back with her hand up. Alice,
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, hi.
The unidentified area.
Oops, sorry.
Go ahead.
Wondering about Stephen Greer. Was he ever? Do you think he was ever a legitimate person?
Back in 2012, 2013, when he had the first UFO Congress, and he was first getting his taste of money, he seemed a little bit more reputable than what he is today. Today, not at all.
Not at all. And I wanted to remark, there's a man in Florida here with the Coral Castle. He created...
Yes, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
with the
an
doors,
ability to go ahead and
tunnels.
lift stuff. He had this box over it, but the thing is, he never revealed his secret, and no one's been able to find any of the tools that he used going back to Coral Castle after he passed away. So all the thoughts of how he potentially had some, some understanding of ancient technologies for moving large objects with little effort,
Right.
we've lost it all again.
I know. It's pretty interesting. I haven't been there yet, but I'm planning on going someday.
Well, you're in Florida. You should drive down when there's not a hurricane.
I know, I definitely should.
Exactly.
I definitely want to see that as well, Alice. I've heard all about it.
Get some pictures while I'm there. Make it a little field trip.
Video is better than pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Did you want to say something, Jay?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, Alice, oh man, I want to go down there too and see that, because that guy, he figured out, the workings of it. I just want to see the genius of it.
He had a tripod that went up like 30 or 40 feet in the air, and at the top there was an oblong, there was a tall rectangular box, tall but skinny, and inside that is where he potentially had his magic.
I'm saying harmonics had something to do with it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, what reminded me was somebody saying you can move a 2-ton door with your pinky. That he did that, or that's still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you live in, Jay?
I'm in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay, a little far away.
All right.
I'll make it in one trip if I really wanted to.
Yep. And our last clip for the evening. This is a classic clip. I saw this one. This is a 2023 interview with U.S. Space Force General Johnny Olson that said there's absolutely life out there. He's one of the top people over in the Space Force. Always great to hear him talk about this. Let me go ahead and play this. I'm going to take a step away while I play it, and we'll be right back. Here we go, folks.
Aerial phenomena, UAP, and UFOs.
Well, this is a very hot topic, and I appreciate the question. I know, admittedly, Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force is quite a mouthful in an acronym. I've gotten that question a couple other times. What do you think about UFOs or aliens? And quite frankly, having flown 83 different airplanes and had lots of hours, we've all seen lots of unexplainable elements. And the cosmos, the space realm is so large. If we look at the Earth, it is this tiny blue dot in an unlimited, almost incomprehensibly large cosmos. I personally believe that there absolutely, from a probability perspective, is life out there. However, this task force is a very serious U.S. government approach to systematically investigating and understanding these, because, of course, unidentified elements present a national security concern, present a safety of flight, present a risk that we must take and diligently pursue. But I think the question is actually more broadly put, and that is we will continue this effort, and in fact, I believe it will be getting more funding and more of a structural support level within the department. But I also believe that this is part of our never-ending quest to learn and understand and explore. And as we have on our probes that have exited the solar system to our probes to the moon, we have gone in peace to explore and discover, and we continue that yearning to see and discover, is there life out there, and what does that mean for humanity?
There we go. He's always a great person to go ahead and listen to. I'm glad that's showed up in my Twitter feed. It's something I always like to look back at, too. This is probably one of the most honest admissions of what's going on in our skies outside of Elizondo and other people that are whistleblowers. This guy is still inside the government, but he's saying the things that the people in the Pentagon have to be rolling over saying, why in the hell did you say this stuff, AJ?
I would say that, like, that, and now it's like, I'm glad he came out with it, and just said that, because it is here. It's been here. It's been here for a while. It's not going anywhere. We need to explore the idea that, why are they here? Not the fact of, are they here? Why are they here? That should be the question.
Or even more so, what are they doing here? Because that'll kind of answer the why. What the hell are they doing here?
Like, what are they doing here? Just one question would answer any of that. And I'm glad that somebody has the courage to come out with it,
Yep. What the hell are they doing here? What are they doing here? We don't care about the technology, although it would be nice to know. It'd be nice to know what are the shapes of the ships. We don't care about the technology or how they move around or anything. We just want to know, what the fuck are they doing here on this planet? What are they doing to us, to everything else? What are their goals? What are they trying to achieve?
You can teach people, about, nuclear science, but you don't give them the plans to the nuclear weapons. So it's the same thing like that. You go ahead and you give them the information. Hey, yes, they're here. Yes, they're doing this. We don't know about this. We're trying to find out. At least let us know the questions that everybody is wanting to know. Like, yes, everybody knows they're here. Let's forget that question. But why are they here? What are they doing here?
Bingo.
That's the main things we need to ask ourselves. We had congressmen coming out and saying that, hey, I heard that there was underground bases all over the ocean. That's true. Everybody's already known that. But why are there underground bases in the ocean? What are they doing there? These are the questions that need to be asked to further this, disclosure in general.
Now, here's one thing. The government keeps on saying, we don't know what their intent is. Bullshit. 100%. Final answer.
There was a meeting.
They know what's going on. They've been watching them for 80 years. They should have a good fucking clue by now about what these things are actually doing here.
Exactly. It's been enough time that they have 80 years of evidence. They have immaculate constellation that they could use. They have all these things that they could go ahead and thousands and hundreds of thousands of cases that they could pour together, and they could see that it's here. It's here.
Right.
Where is it at? Why is it here? That's what we need to know. Why, and what is it doing?
Yep. Exactly. Alice, go ahead.
That's all I want to know. I don't care how I would love to know how it flies. It flies with, using anti-gravity, this and that, but, with this kind of propulsion. But I don't need to know. I just need to know it goes from A to B doing this.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm of the mind that there's more than one, and I think
of course.
they all have their different agendas.
Yeah, different agendas, and they're potentially warring with each other, right, Jay?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yes, I 100% agree with Alice on that too, because you also, okay, why are they here? What do they want? And who are they? Would be my three questions.
Yeah. You get one. What are they doing here?
Okay, one question would be, what are they doing here then? That would be it. Okay.
Yeah. The next question would be, why are they doing this shit?
Yeah.
How long have they been here? Stuff like that that's innocuous, that doesn't get into the whole stealthy government shit about technology and everything else. We're just interested in the anthropological, humanitarian kind of a view of these things. Oh, they're not humanitarian. They're fucking evil. They're aliens. Don't take anything that's human and ever, this is just me talking, and put it on them. Don't say they're good. They care about us and everything. No, they're here for themselves.
How many of you think? Oh, I'm sorry, Jay.
Oh, go ahead, Alice. Go ahead.
How many of you think that Antarctica is loaded with ET?
100%.
That's what I'm thinking.
As much it's a place that we can't go to, right?
And
that's so that is so if you want to call it harsh of a conditions. Humans can barely survive, right?
It's so harsh of conditions, but yet Neil Armstrong goes down there, and all these popes go down there, and these presidents go down there, and high officials go down there for meetings in Antarctica. Why are all these high officials going down to Antarctica? To meet up with the ancient civilization that was in the planet.
So that's what I was getting to. You go in the place on the planet where it has the harshest conditions that humanity cannot survive, and that's a perfect place for these non-human intelligences to go, where we can't go. To stay the hell away from the nuclear poop-throwing monkeys who are overriding the planet.
And you go under.
You called it civilized earlier. I'm not sure I agree.
Well, we're how about we're technologically advanced?
Okay, that's better.
So I guess
when we go through these cataclysms, right, and we've gone through them before, a couple of them.
Like clockwork, every 12,000 years, we've gone through a lot of them.
Yes, but so civilizations rise and fall all the time. So you have a civilization that went inside the core, like me and you were thinking, Alice, like they went to Antarctica, they dug in. A cataclysm was coming. They knew it. They were like,
well. When the crust relocates itself and goes through crustal displacement, the Antarctica and the North Pole go to the equator.
Yeah.
And it's on the equator, which there's always been a lot of melt and new ice coming in. So it's something that kind of goes on for a while, but...
Yeah, and we also have Admiral Byrd, in his testimony saying about him seeing mammoths and green lush grass and everything in parts of Antarctica.
He talked about going into the earth, right?
Before that, though, before he went into the earth, he said he was flying over and he saw lush grass.
No, that's after he went in.
Or after? Okay, after.
That was after. But the thing is, he thinks he went inside the earth, right? Think of him going through...
I think he went inside a giant cave.
Right, but he went through an entrance.
Yeah.
That entrance, if anyone is out there is following me potentially, where my mind thought is going, it could have been a dimensional portal that he flew into. We thought he was going into a hollow earth, but really he was going into a different dimension of time and space.
Okay. I could see that as well. And then he said, I could see that he went into a portal. I could see that. But also when you look in Antarctica, wasn't there a giant hole in the ice there that they covered up?
That's what I thought that he flew into.
No, they flew into what looked like an opening. That opening could have been an opening into another dimension or something. But don't forget, there's huge sections of Antarctica that are explicitly forbidden. Satellites can't photograph it, at least our satellites can't photograph it, and you cannot get there's no craft from the United States or any other governments are allowed to fly over this particular airspace, and it's highly protected. You got to wonder why.
It's extremely highly protected. I've also heard of a story where there was a medevac that was going in for a rescue and had to go around the area, and this was an emergency, and they were initially told that they were allowed to go through, and then they were waved off saying, no, you have to make a circle, and they're like, this is an emergency, like we can't do a circle, but they were made to.
Didn't they violate it though?
Yes,
and they got in really big trouble and shit.
they got in a crap ton of trouble because they did violate that and went straight through, and they did see some things down there, I believe.
And then how
Not
many
sure
of
what they saw.
how many of the big countries are in this treaty, which is kind of unusual too, that everybody would agree to that.
True.
I think there's quite a few that normally don't get along.
You know what? We'll have to take a deep dive in Antarctica along with the penguins.
That's a good one, yeah. We can go back all the way from when the Nazis were going up there.
Oh, and all the ones that escaped to Brazil, apparently that was a real thing.
Yes, I've heard that was a real thing. There was photographs and photographs of Nazis that were taken that were there.
Supposedly, some of Hitler's offsprings.
Wasn't that part of Paperclip?
No, Paperclip was bringing all the scientists into the United States.
Yeah, this was part of the Pope's. The Pope at the time was smuggling Nazis out that were sympathizers with the Pope, and he sent them to Brazil.
Oh, okay, that was different. What was that called? Is there a name for that whole thing?
I don't think there was a name for it. I'm not really sure. Okay. I just know that that's what happened.
All right. I'll show this on Friday. This is really late in the broadcast, but those people who are still hanging out, there are over 270. You don't leave yet. I've got a Lou Elizondo video. And it's from the 29th, so it's pretty recent. Yeah, he's saying some other little drips here and there. Let me go ahead and find this, bring this up. Let's go ahead and play this.
Disclosure kind of address the societal impact of full disclosure, in terms of global security, and really whether people would just totally freak out knowing that life forms from outer space actually exist, or that we have this information that it might, and we're withholding it. I mean, is this like they're keeping it from us to protect us from ourselves? What's going on here?
Well, that was certainly the case in the past. We know that because there were several studies done that were commissioned by the U.S. government. And the results of those studies were very clear that it was the impression at the time that the American population, the American public writ large, would not be able to handle the truth. That it would be too incongruent, too inconsistent with the way they were raised. Americans were raised theologically and philosophically, and of course the idea of preeminence of a government, our government in particular, that has always been designed to find solutions and not basically bring up problems that it couldn't solve. So there are a lot of reasons in the past why the government did not want to have this conversation. But I think times have changed. And I think if you were to pulse the general public now, you'd realize, I think there's first of all, a general acceptance, given if you look at the Drake equation and some of these other scientific equations that predict the likelihood of intelligent life in our solar system, in our universe, and in our Milky Way galaxy. I think the American public deserves to know the truth. I think it can handle the truth. I think it is prepared for the truth. One can just look every day on the headlines, and there's information coming out about these weird, quote unquote, drone incursions over sensitive military installations. There is a 3I Atlas, this comet that seems to be behaving in very unusual ways. Certainly outside the traditional scope of what a normal comet does. And I think there hasn't been panic. A lot of things that the government was worried about before and destabilizing our government and institutions and religions hasn't occurred. And so my perspective, I think people can handle the truth and should have the truth and let them decide for themselves.
Yeah, like 3I Comet and any of these UAPs, the government's response is always like, come on, that's debunked, nothing to see here, blah, blah, blah. But let me ask you this. Do you think President Trump and our former presidents know the truth about UFOs? I mean, have they been given access to these top secret
1 second, I'll make this a little larger. All right, here we go.
Information, or is the deep state kind of keeping it from them? I mean, if I were commander-in-chief, it's literally the first thing I would want to know after being sworn in.
Yeah, great questions. Well, first of all, I do think that it is a responsibility and incumbent upon any president, any elected official to
tiny bit.
Tell the truth. The problem is a lot of these presidents haven't been told the truth. In fact, a lot of this information has been sequestered. And there's a part in this movie where Marco Rubio, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, then Senator Marco Rubio, says, look, there's a lot of things that happened that the president is not briefed on. And we know that to be true. Look, my program itself at the Pentagon was never briefed to the president until it was revealed in a 2017 news article by the New York Times front page story about my program. So the problem is, therein lies the issue, right? You have these extra governmental activities occurring. You have elements within the government that are not coordinating these operations and activities with other elements of the government. And I think there's a good argument there. If there are elements there that are operating in the black and not reporting to Congress, to the certain oversight committees, and not reporting to the president, that's a problem. That's a dysfunction within our government, and that needs to be fixed. And last but not least, I would never presume to speak on behalf of the president of the United States. But if I was in that position, I would definitely lean towards full disclosure to the American public of just how long we've been dealing with this problem and what insights perhaps we have learned. Therein lies another challenge, right? What you don't want to do is tip your hand to a foreign adversary that, yeah, not only are UFOs real, but we happen to maybe have gained some insight and exploit some of this technology for our own advancement. That becomes a very dangerous game when you start doing that.
Wow. This could have been the title. Yeah, it could have been the title card for the fucking show. My goodness. I forgot about that one.
On that notion of them getting us ready for disclosure, right?
Yeah.
I have something to say about that, what he said about that, because it does make sense. There's two things that come to mind on that would be when people in the United States were listening to their transistor radios and War of the Worlds comes on, and people actually think it's going on, like we're getting invaded by aliens and stuff, and they start flooding the telephone lines, right? They're trying to see whether or not the population's ready. And then the second one would be in Europe, there was a broadcast interruption. It was in 1977, and it was in the middle of this war between the Rhodesia forces and Zimbabwe National Liberation Army. There was a beep. And it was followed by like this scrambling of the signal by the Virillion Ashtar Galactic Command.
I thought that happened in the United Kingdom.
It says here when I looked it up, it was in let me see here. It was in where is it here?
Yeah, their live broadcast was hijacked.
Southern England.
It was in England.
Southern England in the United Kingdom.
There you go. It was in the UK, just like I thought. So United Kingdom, during a soccer match or something, someone hijacks the airwaves. Cool effect coming in the way it looked as it was coming into it, and they had a message. I guess we should cover that on Saturday, maybe.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like they're getting like Lou Elizondo said. Okay, you put out a message to see how the public will react. Okay, are they going to react good about this, bad about this? There's aliens that are landing, and now you're flooding the airwaves. The police are now getting hundreds of calls. Okay, maybe it's not a good idea to come out with disclosure yet. We're going to be like,
and people can be afraid of the drones. They can be afraid of the president. They can be afraid of frickin' snowstorms. It's not about fear. It's about acceptance.
It's how it came out, though, okay? It didn't come out as a, hey, this is going to come out now. It just played, and then they watched the reactions of the people.
Yeah. On that note, it's that time of the night that I turn into a pumpkin. I have to get up tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, so it's that time of the night. I know Alice had her hand up. We'll cover her next time. A lot of stuff, but I hate to say it, this is going to be the topic for the next show. It's a good one because it's kind of what we were talking about today, but it more solidifies it and kind of brings it around to continue the conversation, do a bunch more surveys, figure out where the audience is. Yeah, I've been bad on that, but thank you. It works.
I say let's do it. Let's go on with what we're going to do. going down the rabbit hole.
Absolutely. And so I want to thank people for showing out in this show today. Most importantly, first off, I want to go ahead and thank our people that gave us some super chats tonight. Brennan England, thank you very much. All the way from from Australia, and Amanda. Thank you very much. We try to do our best. We appreciate and that you enjoyed our conversation. Yeah, it's always a wonder, what the hell are we going to talk about? But usually I find enough things that I kind of forget about sometimes. Whoops. All right, and then I also want to do something I haven't done in a while. I want to thank the people in the chat who've still been around. Reverse order, Yellow Tommy Tanker, Woodrow Smith, Troy's still here. We got the Wasteland, Sam's around, Mel Ramis in the chat, along with Marcus and the Mandels. We got Kelly Bro with Piercing Blue Eyes. You've been here all show. Thank you for being around, Kelly. Around with J-Cat and Francis Tremblay, and got Firefly as well. Enoch is still around here for the whole show, and E-Dub, Delms, Digger Dog. A regular, thank you, my friend, Country Carpenter again, Brennan England, and Amanda. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. You're all special. I appreciate you for all be part of this part of this conversation. Hopefully, this show is for everybody, and that's why we're here. So, and as we usually say at the end of every broadcast, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everybody. But
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely, we'll catch you in the flip side. Good night, everybody. Good night, Jay. Take care, my friend.
Good night.
Bye-bye.